Hey guys, it's Liv here, and in today's video, we're going to be using an AI to build our Pokemon team for a best of 5 series against my good pal.
Huh? Oh, that's me. I'm Avery, Incog. You know who I am. You already know what it is. I'll do a B.
You really had that explosion ready?
Yes.
There's no way you had that ready. Oh my god. Well, if you guys enjoy, leave a like, of course, and subscribe to the video. Make sure to check out Incog, Avery, etc. His links, every single one of his links are going to be down below. Avery is, of course, a good pal of the channel. Helps a ton with stuff such in the presentation aspect, especially in the planning aspect as well. So please drop him a follow, sub, etc. Join his Discord. Really everything. But are you ready for the rules, Avery?
Somehow.
Somehow? Listen, this feels like we're just recording a free-for-all for your channel. It's really all it is. But we're gonna each roll our teams. Now, we are allowed to use these teams out of order if we like. Like, I can use my team 1 and Incog can use his team 5. Doesn't really matter, helps a bit with the suspense of it. But it's essentially, we're gonna play through 5 games until someone wins 3. So there's a little bit of strategy, of course, picking better teams first or maybe saving them for the end. But 3, 2, 1, click the build button. And we will see what it gives us. Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Let me move this window real quick. My teams are interesting. I got a lot of one Pokemon that I really don't like. But
I got a lot of Pokemon I would rather not use, but
yeah,
that's how it is, you know.
So, do you want to guess what my most common Pokemon was? What my second most common Pokemon was looking at these?
Farigiraf?
No, I love that one. My first most common was Kingambit, and I love that too. My second most common was fucking Volcarona. I got it on 3 of my teams, and I hate Volcarona after the fucking Heatwave stream game.
Well, one of the most common ones I got actually is Fluttermane.
Incog's team, I'm actually gonna put it on screen right now on the magic of live video editing. But Incog's team he has on team 1, Baxcalibur, Grim, Kingambit, Fluttermane, Dragonite, a bundle. Team 2 is Pull, Bundle, Murkrow, Iron Hands, Kingambit, and Bax. Team 3 is Dragonite, Iron Hands, Pull, Fluttermane, Garchomp, and Great Tusk. Nice ground spam core. Kind of shocked you got that, by the way, because I assume there's some sort of like realism check on this, for lack of a better term, and most teams don't even have a single ground type. So I'm shocked you got 2. Your third, well, your fourth team actually almost looks like a real team though. You have Kingambit, Frigg, Murkrow, Grim, Thorns, D-Knight. Really just the Murkrow Grim that's awkward. Your teams aren't terrible though. For randomly generated, these aren't terrible. Like your 5th team actually looks like a real team, barring the triple ghost. You really got triple ghost. Oh my god.
What I like about your team, I wanted to Paldean Tauros, man. God damn it. But this is gonna be an interesting because like I've played a lot of Series 2 at this point now from just playing on Showdown. This is gonna be an interesting one because like man.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. I like my teams a lot. I especially like my team 5. My team 5 actually looks like a genuinely real team, barring half of it having Terra Flying. But even then, none of them are bad Terra Flying mons, so I'll take it. Most of these teams look actually pretty fine, to be honest. Very much so questioning what the fuck I'm gonna do with my team 3, but otherwise I feel pretty confident about this. I think I can go into this at least not worried about losing entirely. But yeah, I guess we'll see you guys with the matches. I'm not gonna do builders for these, but I'll link down Pokepastes for all 5 of my teams, as well as I guess if Avery sends me his afterwards, I'll link his down below too, just so you guys could use these if you want. But with that said, let's cut to the battles. Peace out, guys.
Yeah.
And we're here with the battle portion of our AI team fight against Incog, of course. So my good pal Incog has the team right now. Let's see, which team did he bring? He brought team number 5, which consists of Terra Fairy, Boost Energy Corviknight. There is a Rocky Helmet Terra Fighting, Rocky Helmet Terra Fighting Corviknight, Terra Fairy, Boost Energy Fluttermane, I should say. There's Clear Amulet, Terra Steel on Roaring Moon, Focus Sash, Terra Fairy Gengar, Terra Steel Life Orb on Goldengo, and Terra Steel Assault Vest Iron Hands. So as far as my team goes, I consisted of my team number 2. So we have the Terra Fairy Citrus Volk, we have Terra Ghost Pull, we have Terra Water Bundle, Terra Fairy Kingambit, Terra Fairy on Tyranitar, and Terra Poison on Moon. I think I'm definitely going to lead off with Bundle Fluttermane. Not Bundle Fluttermane, Bundle Pult. Bundle Pult should be pretty decent here. I'm going to bring King Gambit in the back for sure. They don't really beat it outside of Iron Hands. And then considering the Terra Steel and Iron Hands, I think I'm going to bring Volcarona in mon number 4. Then I'm probably just not going to Terra it, because realistically getting the Flame Body burn on Iron Hands will be pretty huge, especially considering it's not Terrestrial Fire. So good luck, have fun, and let's hope we can get an early win. It is first to 3 who gets the whole set, so obviously if we might not end up playing all 5 games, so I'm going to hope that we can win as quickly as possible. And it's not that I don't want to show off all 5 teams, it's mostly the fact that I have to record like 3 more videos before I go to Orlando. So I would prefer to finish this as quickly as possible, whether I get 3-0'd or whether I 3-0 Avery. We're going to go for the Icy Wind turn 1 though, as neither of these Pokemon can outpace my bundle. Meanwhile, I can probably just go for the... Well, I can't really go for the Dragon Darts here. Well, I could technically go for it. Dragon Darts would actually be not bad, because I could realistically... Well, Gengar could Terrestrial around it. I could KO the Moon this way, like guaranteed. They're going to go for Protect on Roaring Moon, that's perfectly fine. I know this thing does have Clear Amulet, by the way, to get around the Icy Wind. This is mostly to break Sash Gengar while still attacking both targets. We're just going to take out Gengar entirely, though, which works out for me. So I'll definitely take that. One Pokemon already down. Avery has Roaring Moon as well in the field. My guess is that probably Iron Hands and then one of Goldengo or Fluttermane ends up being that other backseat stuff. I would highly doubt that Corviknight comes to a game with stuff like Volcarona, King Gambit, etc., especially with Terra fighting. They are going to proceed to bring on Iron Hands. That's perfectly okay. We're going to proceed to go for a Protect on my Iron Bundle. Meanwhile, on Pull, I think I'm going to go for... I kind of want to go for a Dragon Dance here. Oh, oops, not Dragon Darts, Dragon Dance. Yeah, I'm not really too inclined to click a Terrestrial just yet. I want to see how we take this next attack before I actually commit to Dragon Darts. But it might not be bad to click the the Terrestrial plus the Terra Blast. I could realistically do some pretty good damage actually into the Iron Hands. So I would definitely take that. Oh god, sorry, fixing my camera real quick, because it ended up being very, very bad as far as the Chroma Key goes. There we go. It's much better. Okay. We're gonna go with this. So they're gonna end up going for, I believe they went for Fake Out into that spot, which works out perfect. It's kind of what I anticipated them to go for. They're gonna Terra Steel on the Roaring Moon. That's perfectly acceptable. Meanwhile, they're gonna go for Tailwind on on the Roaring Moon. So they don't end up breaking. Well, they don't end up bringing me down to leftovers, thankfully. Oh, they went for Bulldoze. Okay. Well, Clear Body's gonna be fine, so I won't drop my speed, thankfully. Meanwhile, their Roaring Moon will actually drop speed, which... Oh, you know what? Never mind. Because they're Clear Amulet, so it doesn't actually affect them. Okay. So what I'm gonna manage to do here, I'm gonna go for the Hydro Bump into Roaring Moon. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go for the Protect on my Dragapult. This should ensure, of course, that Roaring Moon ends up not KOing me with any sort of Dragon attack that this might have. Something like a Breaking Sweat, for example, that would otherwise KO me. They're going to go for Throat Chop. That's perfectly fine. We know that for a fact that they still can definitely touch my Roaring Moon here. Not my Roaring Moon, my Dragapult here, so I'm okay with that. Meanwhile, Roaring Moon actually just dies the pump. Beautiful. Bundle proving to be an absolute offensive menace. So I will honestly definitely take that. As far as the hands goes, I think I'm definitely just going to go for the Terra Ghost into this. Realistically, my Terra Ghost Terra Blast should probably at least, I want to say I do at least 75%. I know that I know that Iron Hands is really bulky, but at the same time though, I feel like we could definitely do some significant damage here. They're gonna actually bring in Fluttermane, and I can't lie, knowing this is booster energy Fluttermane, this does lead me to want to actually attack another spot, especially if it's special attack boosting. It's speed boosting. Okay, well, actually that also works out fine for me. I'm gonna proceed to go for a Protect here, and then meanwhile I'm gonna go for the Terra Blast Ghost into... Actually, I am going to go into Iron Hands, because I can just Sucker Punch the Fluttermane later on. I'm going to burn my Terra here, because despite the fact that something like Terra Flying King Gambit could be useful for 50-50 on the Iron Hands, I feel like at the same time, trying to see if I can get around maybe a potential Gleam from this thing would be useful. They're not Life Orb, they're not Specs, they can't even Terrestrial to boost it, so it'd be a no weakness hit that would also be spread, so we might actually get some good benefit here. They are going to proceed to go for Dazzling Gleam. This is perfectly fine. Now the question is, will it KO Pull? We haven't taken a ton. We actually chew that pretty well, which is amazing for us, I can't lie. This Iron Hand should be taking a ton of damage from Terra Ghost Terra Blast. I'd be genuinely shocked if it didn't walk away in the red. That chewed. Holy shit. Like, that's definitely like a physical offense set. What the fuck? How did this mon chew? Iron Hands is so obnoxiously bulky. Like, this mon is grossly bulky. We're gonna proceed to go for, let's see, one more turn of Tailwind, right? It's just one more turn? Oh, right, I gotta check their side. Yep, one more turn of Tailwind. Okay. I'm gonna proceed to go for an Icy Wind here, and then meanwhile, I'm gonna go for a Protect. I should be able to guarantee KO the Fluttermane on the following turn, or the Iron Hands actually, which actually that'd probably be better for me if I just KO the Iron Hands. Meanwhile, I could Sucker Punch into the Fluttermane, which should take that out. We're gonna lose Iron Bundle in the process, but honestly, I'm okay with this. So we'll just have to Sucker Punch into the Fluttermane spot. Meanwhile, I'm gonna end up going for the Terra Blast into Iron Hands, and this should KO both Pokemon. Realistically, since Fluttermane isn't some sort of offensive boosting set, I'm not too concerned about it. Meanwhile, my Dragapult now guarantee outpaces it as well. Even with the speed boost, I guarantee actually crept for Iron Bundle with boost energy, since I believe there was a team that Avery had that had it. There actually wasn't, but even still, I mean, it's like oh, you know what? Yeah, team number 1 had it. I knew I wasn't crazy. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go for Sucker Punch here, and I'm gonna go for Terra Blast Ghost into the Iron Hands. The combination of these should guarantee KO both Pokemon, so I'm not really too concerned with this. And this should secure game 1. Avery can't go for any sort of Protect on Iron Hands, so objectively speaking, it has to take this hit. Meanwhile, Fluttermane actually chewed that pretty well. I didn't really think Fluttermane would take the hit that easily, but at the same time, though, it's still gonna die guaranteed to the next Sucker Punch, so I'm pretty fine with this. Because essentially here, Fluttermane cannot KO my Kingambit. I know for a fact this is a 3 KO. Objectively speaking, it's a 3 KO. Even if it was Moonblast, it was a 3 KO. So I know for a fact that I do not die. So I guarantee get up a Sucker Punch on this Pokemon. It's not like I can go for Wisp. Sadly, its spawn doesn't go Wisp. It would be so cool if this thing got Wisp. But realistically, not only that, but it can't break my Volcarona either, which is one of the reasons I was so okay with Terraing Pult, even if I didn't end up getting an attack off, because none of my other mons actually need to Terra against what Avery brought. Now, if something like, for example, the Corviknight ended up coming, I might have went for Terastal on, let's say, Kingambit to try and get around the body press, but that didn't end up happening, so I don't really need to Terra anything else. Pult is my Terramon. With that said, though, we're 1-0 so far. Let's try and get into game number 2. Peace out, guys. Okay, so moving on to game number 2, my opponent ends up bringing team number 1, which consists of Assault Vest, Terra Fairy, Baxcalibur, Terra Water, Grimmsnarl with Citrus Berry, Terra Fire, Kingambit with Black Glasses, Terra Ghost, Fluttermane with Choice Specs, Terra Steel, Dragonite with Lumberry, and Terra Grass, Iron Bundle with Booster Energy. So this is the Booster Bundle team that I was talking about just a second ago. We're going to proceed to bring our team consisting of Booster Energy, Terra Fighting, Iron Hands. We have Terra Fire, Banded Chomp, Terra Ground, Clearing Roaring Moon, Terra Fire, Focus Sash, Fluttermane, Terra Fairy, Mirror Herb, Paldean, Tauros, Blaze, and we have Terra Ghost leftovers on Goldengo. So as far as a lead goes, I really like the idea of leading off with Fluttermane and Iron Hands. Honestly, such a good lead for us, objectively speaking. I could actually, I'm going to lead off with Roaring Moon, Fluttermane. We're going to bring the, I don't even know if I want to bring Iron Hands, to be honest. They have a lot of different checks to this, actually, weirdly enough. And I think the Tauros will be really valuable as far as an option to offensively pressure them. Meanwhile, my Banded Chomp, actually, no, I'm going to bench Chomp. Chomp almost could have justified coming for what it's worth. Like for example, I would have definitely ended up bringing Chomp against... Honestly, I think I would have brought Chomp against literally every other team that Avery has, besides this one and the Tusk one. So I guess it's really just the Pult team and the Iron Thorns team. Those teams I would have definitely brought Chomp against. I think that's my win con there. However, in this particular case, I think it's actually Tauros, especially if I can get it in before my opponent ends up bringing in the Kingambit. I'm pretty set. So my opponent's going to proceed to lead off with Iron Bundle and Grimmsnarl. So this is a little bit concerning. However, at the same time, though, I can potentially go for... What I think I'm going to do here, I'm going to proceed to go for the... I could go for Mystical Fire. Mystical Fire would do a lot of damage with the Terra Fire. However, I think there's still a little bit of concern regarding the Iron Bundle. I'm going to go for the Terra Fire, and I'm going to go... Nope, I'm actually not going to Terra. Because realistically, I just make myself open to Pump at that point. We are going to go for the Shadow Ball here, though. Meanwhile, I'm going to go for the Tailwind on my Roaring Moon. I think that they're going to either go for the Icy Wind here, or they're going to go for Freeze Dry into Roaring Moon. They're actually going to go into Fluttermane. Now, going into Fluttermane is interesting, but this makes a lot of sense. Thankfully, we're only brought down to Focus Sash here. which is really useful. If Avery proceeded to dual attack into that spot, that could have actually been really terrifying for me. But because of the fact that we're going to get the Tailwind up, we'll actually outpace both these Pokemon, and I can go for a Gleam plus a Terra Ground Stomping Tantrum. The Fake Tears play was pretty good, though, since Flutter Mane can actually be fairly bulky, and it has a naturally high split F stat, so it was a good way to guarantee bringing me down to Sash. However, I would have probably made it with any sort of, like a Freeze Dry, for example, because that would have, I feel like it still would have brought me down to Sash. Regardless, though, we're going to go for the Terra Ground here. This should help get around any sort of super effective Spirit Break that Incog might go for, as realistically, Grimmsjaw will probably take a single hit from a Focus Sash Flutter Mane going for Gleam. Meanwhile, it definitely will not take the combination of these two, so I want to make sure that I'm boosting the damage as much as possible, and then we can avoid having to take a Spirit Break. And even if we do take a Spirit Break, realistically, it's not going to do any damage because it's no longer super effective on me. So this Dazzling Gleam is going to get up, and yep, as we can see, Grimmsjaw does manage to take this pretty well, and that was a crit too. So the Terra Ground was actually extremely necessary in my opinion, as this should manage even through the Reflect to KO. Oh right, Citrus Berry. Okay, well then maybe not. We might not actually KO, but even still, one of those situations where even without the Reflect, if assuming we didn't get the crit that is, this might have actually came into play depending on how bulky the Grimm is. Because realistically, if Grimm never got crit there, yeah, that might have actually ended up being fine, because it could have probably ended up taking that hit and gone for a Spirit Break. So the risk was still there. It was still definitely there. My opponent's going to proceed to bring in Dragonite here. Now, I'm still a little bit concerned about Dragonite, I can't lie, as there is merit in potentially just clicking Terra Steel. We're going to go for Gleam here. Meanwhile, I'm going to go for the Stomping Tantrum into Dragonite. Now, if they don't go for Terra Steel, then I'm fine with this. But if they do go for Terra Steel, this should be a huge play for us because we can manage to take out Dragonite. I don't see why they would, for what it's worth. I think instead, realistically, what Avery does... Oh, nope. He's going to go for the Terra. Okay. It's still fine. Honestly, I just kind of assumed that I could sack one of these Pokemon realistically and bring in something else later on. But the upside of this play worked out really well as well. Realistically, though, there wasn't a spread move that KO'd both my Pokemon. It could really only KO Flutter Mane at that point. And all I needed to do was just proceed to... Oh, right, yeah, because we're a ground type. Oh, no, poor Avery. I know, because I know typically, you know, you'd think that, oh, because it's not a dog type, you could prank with away with it. But I tear it into the one type that's just immune to electric. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I'm assuming there was a misclick, though. I'm assuming it was meant to be clicked into Flutter Mane. I can't imagine that was purposeful. Dragonite proceeds to still really obnoxiously chew this hit. I'm kind of shocked, I can't lie. Because realistically, I mean, this is still like a Terra Ground boosted Roaring Moon. And I guess, I don't know, Roaring Moon is kind of weak without a boost, huh? It is kind of a weak mon. Well, I'm going to proceed to go for a Gleam here. Gleam is realistically my best play, despite the fact that my opponent does have, yeah, well actually there's Specs Flutter Mane, so I could actually just go for Shadow Ball. Because they've already burned Terra. So I'm actually just going to go for Shadow Ball here. And then meanwhile, I'm going to go for Tantrum into Dragonite. I don't think I KO either Pokemon, to be honest, but this should get some substantial damage off. Flutter Mane is going to take this Shadow Ball. I think for what it's worth, they'll probably take this, and then they'll KO at least my Flutter Mane while doing a significant amount of damage to my Roaring Moon with Gleam, if not just outright KOing that as well. This could be really good for Avery, actually, as I might end up actually getting screwed by this. Yeah, so Flutter Mane does die, Roaring Moon nearly does. Honestly, I'll take that, because realistically what I could manage to do here, I'm going to proceed to go... Ooh, right. Now I'm outpaced. That could be pretty bad, actually. I'm going to go into Tauros here. Tauros should take this hit fairly well. It's kind of my best shot I have at actually winning this game, to be completely honest, because I need the Flutter Mane gone. Their Inner Focus Dragonite. God damn it. Okay. So that's going to do a lot of damage. It's going to objectively do a lot of damage. I'm going to go for the Raging Bull here into Flutter Mane, and then I'm going to proceed to go for a Stomping Tantrum into Flutter Mane. I need Flutter Mane gone. Objectively speaking, Flutter Mane needs to go. We know it's clicking Gleam, which is actually fairly problematic, and it might be enough to just KO my team. Now, thankfully, this... Oh, never mind. That doesn't even matter. Yeah, no, I think Flutter Mane just wins. I'm going to be honest. Because realistically, even if I was clicking Protector on this, I mean, I don't think that Iron Hands took it. If it was Assault Vest, I'd feel a little more confident. Or if I was like Terra Fire, I'd feel a little more confident, but I'm not. So I objectively don't think, even if I clicked Protect and Tauros, that I actually had a chance of taking this hit. Especially from a Specs Flutter Mane. That plus D-Knight realistically was always going to KO me. So, a little bit unfortunate, but I do think we've objectively lost game number 2. I'm going to still try and play for my out, which would essentially be Flutter Mane maybe not KOing somehow by some miracle, and then Dragonite just clicking Roost. which doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. So we're going to have to take this Gleam full force, and yeah, that's just going to KO. Okay, so GG. We're 1-1 so far. Let's get right into game number 3. Peace out, guys. Okay, so moving on to game number 3. This is our team number 3, which consists of Terra Ground, Boost Energy, Roaring Moon, Terra Flying, Assault Vest, King Gambit, Terra Fire Goggles, Hydreigon, Terra Fairy Specs, Fluttermane, Terra Fairy Sash Pull, and Terra Ground Life Orb on Iron Treads. Meanwhile, my opponent brings Terra Ghost Life Orb Pull, Terra Water Focus Sash Bundle, Terra Flying a Violet Murkrow, Terra Grass AV Hands, Terra Dark Glasses on King Gambit, and then Terra Ice Loaded Dice Baxcalibur. Now the Baxcalibur actually is going to be a huge problem for this team, I can't lie. This probably, of the 3 teams remaining, is the team that I would personally feel confident in saying is the one I wanted to least play. Even the Tusk team, at least I have a couple outs with all my Terra Fairy options, but that Baxcalibur actually could be really annoying if Tailwind gets up with it. I'm going to proceed to lead off with Roaring Moon, just to try and keep some offensive pressure on that. Meanwhile, I'm going to also lead off with King Gambit. Realistically, my goal here is just to try and get a really good offensive lead on the backs. We're going to bring Fluttermane in the back for sure, and then I think as a last-ditch effort, I'm going to bring Iron Treads, because my team right now is going to be so focused on backs. I want to make sure that Treads, at the very least, could potentially get off something like a Rock Slide or maybe like a Iron Head or Tantrum into this team. It should also be a decent check to the Iron Hands, especially if it's pre-Terra. But realistically, in tandem with Fluttermane, I think we'll be fine there. Good luck, fun. I'm a little bit worried about this matchup, to say the least. I think the other two were pretty even matchups, objectively speaking. This one, though, I'm not looking forward to. I'm going to be completely honest. They do let off with Murkrow backs, which truthfully I think is like the worst lead that they could have let off with for me specifically. Not even something I could have really done a better lead for, but objectively this isn't great. We're going to proceed to go for... I'm going to proceed to go for a Tailwind here. And then I'm going to go for the Iron Head into Baxcalibur. Thankfully, it's Terra Ice at least, so it can't be something like a Terra Water where I have to play this 50-50 on its defensive typing. My opponent is also thankfully going to go for the Protect here, which is perfectly fine, because I can at least even the field with Murkrow's Tailwind, and also Murkrow can't Thunder Wave me, which should be pretty good. This does mean that I am essentially able to either get up a super effective Breaking Swipe, or at least a neutral one on the following turn, which should be valuable for dropping the Baxcalibur's attack at least, since it is Loaded Dice and not Clear Amulet, which is really good for me. We're going to proceed to go for Breaking Swipe, and then I'm going to go for the Iron Head here, which again is always super effective. This should help a ton as far as damage goes, and really this is the best play for me. Now, I will say that Bax still could have been honestly pretty terrifying here, especially if it went for the Loaded Dice Icicle Spear on the first turn. That might have actually been a game changer, because me losing my Roaring Moon like that would have been pretty obnoxious. Thankfully, though, we did get up a Mirroring Tailwind, which, while it's not super effective, the Breaking Swipe will still be very useful in terms of dropping Sing's attack. And it might make a difference taking the hit. I don't think it will, but maybe. I'm going to hope it does. I'm going to really just have to hope it does, to be honest. I think we lose Moon here, though, which is pretty bad because Moon is so good against this team. Though I did need it in order to apply proper offensive pressure against this lead. So, kind of give and take there. Kind of give and take. It looks like the Bax is going to manage to take us out because Loaded Dice is always... It seems like it's guaranteeing 4 hits, which is unfortunate, but just the way the item goes. So, we can at least get up a strong Iron Head here. And even if Murkrow does decide to go for a foul play, I'm not really too concerned with it. They're going to go for foul play, that's fine. King Gambit should shoot that. And then this Iron Head should do at least half. Just KO is beautiful. Okay. So we trade Bax for Moon. I don't entirely mind this, but it's definitely not great. Moon was a decent option to Terra to potentially pressure the Iron Hands. And also being a Terra set, we could have potentially utilized it to break Sash, and in tandem with Sucker Punch on King Gambit, killed the bundle. We could still maybe do that with our Fluttermane or our Treads, but it's just not going to be the same. Speaking of, we're going to bring in Fluttermane here. Realistically, the Dazzling Gleam from the Choice Spec set should be pretty good against most of this team, thankfully. King Gambit's going to come in. Fuck, that's like the one mana I did not want to come in. Okay. We're going to go for the Terra Fairy here. And I'm just going to go for Specs Moonblast. Meanwhile, I'm going to go for the Brick Break. This is mostly just... Actually, hold on. So, I kind of need to just make sure that I can outpace. I'm going to go... Switch out, actually. We're going to go into Iron Treads. And then I'm going to go for the Brick Break here. Into King Gambit. Now, King Gambit should die to this Brick Break, thankfully. Thankfully, it's such a strong move against this 4 times weakness. And King Gambit should not be able to take this hit. If they go for a Brick Break first, it's a little unfortunate. They actually go for Protect, which I don't really mind Protect in all honesty. I can proceed to go for... Oh, they're going to go for Feather Dance. Thankfully, it doesn't affect King Gambit. We're going to proceed to go for a Brick Break here. And then also we're going to go for the... I'm going to go for the Iron Head into Murkrow. The Iron Head into Murkrow should be a strong option. I don't really care about the spread in all honesty. I just want to get off some good damage, which I should be able to manage to do here, but we'll have to see. This Brick Break, I'm going to hope takes out King Gambit. They might also just go into something like a Dragapult here, which I guess is merit, but if it's Pult as the last mon, I'm not too concerned. I'm more concerned with Iron Hand's last mon. The Feather Dance will be a little bit annoying because Treads actually could have been a really good response to this team, but meanwhile now we're going to be dealing with some random shenaniganry from their mons. This Iron Head is going to go off, that's fine. We're just going to Brick Break King Gambit, and we should be able to take that out. Oh my god, that chewed. I'm kind of shocked this took the hit. Opposing team's Tailwind and our Tailwind. Okay, so the difference is, though, is that they're going to get up another Tailwind, and I can't really do anything about it. We're going to go for Rock Slide here. Meanwhile, I'm going to go for a Brick Break and a King Gambit. They go for Protect this turn, so be it. It's not really a huge concern. I don't really think it changes a lot for what it's worth. Yeah, they're just going to attack. Okay, that's fine. So Tailwind's going to get off. What's my opponent going to do? They're going to go for Sucker Punch. Okay, that should do... Yeah, that does a good amount of treads. It shouldn't KO, thankfully, but it still does a good amount. And we'll be able to take out the combination of Murkrow and Gambit, thankfully, with this. Now, they do still have one more Pokemon left, and depending on what this Pokemon is, it could actually be pretty terrifying for me. Something like an Iron Bundle could still maybe cheese, but Iron Hands would probably be what I'm most scared of. Thankfully, it can't Terrestrial, but I am still attack dropped, and I don't really have a lot of turns left anyway on Treads. So it's definitely a little bit concerning, to say the least. They're going to go into Dragon Ball here. Dragon Ball is honestly fine. This is probably the best case scenario for me because I could proceed to go for the Tantrum here, and I can proceed to go for the Sucker Punch here. Now, Dragon Ball thankfully cannot really Terrestrial around this, and because it's not a Focus Sash set, we're actually going to be able to probably just... Yep, perfect. We just pick up the KO. Alright, we're 2-1. One more win will secure it. However, we do have 2 more games potentially of the set, so if I do lose this next one, we're going to have to go to Game 5. Hopefully it doesn't happen, and hopefully we can win with the next team. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, guys. Okay, so moving on to our next game, we both ended up bringing our Dragonite teams. For what it's worth, Avery did have a couple Dragonite teams, but the one in particular this time consists of Terraflying Lum Dragonite, Terraflying AV Hands, Terra Dragon Life Orb Pult, Terra Ghost Booster Energy Fluttermane, Terra Dragon Banded Chomp, and Terra Fighting Focus Sash on Great Tusk. Meanwhile, my team consists of Terra Fairy AV Treads, Terra Flying Banded D-Knight, Terra Water Citrus Arcanine, Terra Flying Booster Hands, Terra Flying Black Glasses King Gambit, and Terra Fairy Rocky Helmet Volcarona. As far as this team goes, I'm definitely bringing Volcarona in the back. I think it's going to objectively be my Terramon here. It should be really good with Terra Fairy. And actually, this team gets completely fucked over by it. The one concern I have is Fluttermane. However, it's definitely more concerning if it doesn't Terra. So I do need to keep an eye on that. I'm going to bring Treads as a lead. And I think I'm going to lead it with, I want to say Dragonite. I think these two should be a decent lead option. I'm actually really concerned as well with Great Tusk. Essentially, my only real check to this is actually going to be the Volcarona. And it's solely for the fact that I could do enough damage to break it with Volcarona. But this is a fairly bulky Pokemon. And even with the Focus Sash, it might be still like... Avery could easily still just invest. All this was just an item restriction, essentially, that it had to run Focus Sash, but that doesn't tell me anything about the set that Avery actually did choose to put on this Pokemon. So, a little bit concerning, but we'll have to see what happens. Hands Garchomp leads. Okay, this is a pretty terrifying lead, actually. This could cause a lot of problems. This Chomp could essentially be utilized to take out my Treads guaranteed. There won't be a lot I could do about it. I'm going to go for Tantrum into Hands, and then I want to say that I'm going to go for Dragon Claw to Chomp. Because thankfully it's going to keep that Dragon Weakness guaranteed, which will be huge for me. Now, they're probably going to go for some sort of Fake Out here. I'm anticipating into Treads, because by going for Fake Out into Treads, they can guarantee that, one, that Chomp can take out Treads, which will be huge for Iron Hands, because it's one of my best ways to kill it. But more importantly, number 2, because they can't even guarantee that they'll Fake Out the Dragonite properly. And considering I'm Assault Vest Iron Treads, they always get the Fake Out off in that spot. So that should be pretty good for them. However, I'm still fine with gambling that maybe they don't click Fake Out here, and maybe they click something like a Volt Switch or a Drain Punch or Sword Stance instead. So we'll have to see. Well, I guess not Sword Stance, but still. They're going to have a Terra Flying on the Iron Hands. Oh, that's kind of bad. That's actually really bad. This does open up potential for like a Drain Punch this turn instead of a Fake Out. And they do actually proceed to go for Earthquake here. Now, Earthquake is going to massacre my Iron Treads. This should KO, and honestly, I'd be shocked if it doesn't. It gets brought down to literal 1. I'm kind of shocked we lived on the Invisible Sash, but it doesn't even really matter. It's a banded Garchomp. Meanwhile, I'm going to still, despite the fact that I did KO the Garchomp here, I don't think the crit mattered for what it's worth. I am a banded Dragonite, and I'm Adamant Nature max attack. I don't think that matters, but realistically, it's still pretty bad, actually, because I'm still going to die to the Iron Hands, and even if Iron Hands did target Dragonite instead, Flutter Mane just came in and Gleam next turn, and I can't really do anything about it because it's not like I can even avoid the Terra potentially. Now this Iron Hands is actually going to proceed to be a really massive issue for us, considering the fact that I can't even actually Terra around this anymore. Now I can technically do some work with Terra, but it's not going to exactly be enough to KO because I don't have the super effective Terra Fairy like I was hoping. I didn't really think that this would be the Mon that got Terrasilled, but it's a good pick. It's objectively a really good pick. I just did not think it would be this. I thought it would be potentially the Flutter Mane, was all. We're going to go for the Terra Fairy, though, into Tusk. And truthfully, my best play is actually just assuming that we can try and massacre the Tusk. Because the Tusk could actually be pretty problematic for my Volcarona by going for something like a Rock Slide here. So I don't really have the luxury of actually letting a Mon stay alive. So I do need to make sure this thing gets taken out, which is why we're going to go for the Terra Fairy as well, just in case it manages to outpace us. Because I don't think I actually crept for the Great Tusk. It's going to go for Protect, actually. Ugh, that's really bad. That's actually obnoxiously bad because I dual targeted into the spot with single target attacks. So this Iron Hands essentially just gets a free turn on whatever Pokemon it wants. And that's not good. Objectively, that's just not good. Now, especially if this clicked Ice Punch into Dragonite, that could actually really screw me over. They're going to go for Rock Slide. That's also pretty bad, at least. But thankfully, we teared around this. Now, I'm going to proceed to actually go for... I'm going to go for the Giga Drain, actually. Giga Drain should realistically still do a lot of damage. And I'd be shocked if we don't KO with the combination of this plus Dragon Claw, in all honesty. Now, I will say that this Tusk objectively will outpace my Dragonite. And there's not much I could do about that. It's a Focus Sash set, however. So, again, there's only so much I could do about making sure that it can actually take this hit. Because it guaranteed will get off an attack this turn. I just need to make sure that it's not going to be around to take a second. My opponent will switch out here. They're going to bring in Flutter Mane. Okay. So Flutter Mane will definitely take these hits fairly well, actually. It's obviously immune to Dragon Claw. Meanwhile, it's also going to be taking this Giga Drain pretty well because it's not a stab boost. And on top of that as well, it's a fairly weak attack, in all honesty. And Flutter Mane is a ton of speed F. So as we can see there, it does like 20%, which is pretty terrible, in all honesty. It's objectively really bad. We're going to get immune from the Dragon Claw. Okay, and then my opponent's going to go for another Rock Slide here. It doesn't KO, but it's honestly fine for my opponent. They proceed to just go for... Honestly, yeah, they just go for a Dazzling Gleam here. There's not a lot I can really do about that. I could, in theory, switch, but... Actually, I think I'm going to switch Dragonite, yeah. Because we can go into King Gambit. Now, I will say, not having the Assault Vest does kind of suck. But at the same time, though, I can still potentially take this hit kind of well, at least. It should be at least okay. I don't think it's going to be great, though, but it should be at least okay. We're going to proceed to take a... Let's see, I think it was a Hex, actually, thankfully. And again, we don't really do a lot of damage with this Heat Wave. Even despite the fact that we do have the Modest Nature of 116 special attack, we just do nothing. Meanwhile, they're going to go for the Terra Blast here on Volk, and that also does nothing for what it's worth, but still, it does enough. It does enough. We're going to Sucker into the Flutter Mane here. That should KO. And then, meanwhile, I'm going to go for the Terra Blast into Iron Hands, just because it's going to guarantee hit, and it should be my strongest option of the ones that will guarantee hit. If they switch out here, that's fine. I'm just going to hope. Ugh, okay. I wonder if they're clicking Perish Song. No, they're going to click Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave's still really good for what it's worth. This could potentially get around my priority here. Assuming that, of course, I do get full parried, that's really bad for me, actually. So we're going to go for Terra Blast here. And this isn't... Yeah, it's not going to do much. I don't think we can break this Mon, I'm going to be honest. Drain Punch isn't going to KO my King Gambit, thankfully, but... I mean, what does it really matter? I think we're still fucked. I think we're still really fucked. Because all Flutter Mane needs to do here is just click Gleam. And my team should just die to Gleam. We're going to go for a Heat Wave. And then I'm going to go for a Sucker Punch. And I'm just going to hope. Nope, they're going to go for Thunder Wave yet again. Okay, well, a little bit unfortunate, but I still stand by that play for what it's worth because I still think it was in my best interest always to just try and make sure that we could pressure the Flutter Mane with Sucker Punch. They are going to KO with Drain Punch on Iron Hands though, which is a little bit unfortunate. This has honestly secured the game for my opponent with the Terraflying Iron Hands. This thing is honestly kind of a nightmare. So I'm gonna bring in the Dragonite here, and it's solely for the fact that I'm just gonna hope. I just need to hope that my opponent chokes. Specifically, I can bank off of my opponent not clicking a spread move here, because by not clicking a spread move here, I could potentially get up a Heat Wave, maybe crit, and I can go for E-Speed into Iron Hands, and maybe that'll do enough damage. And that's kind of all I can really bank off of here. So we do a lot of damage. Assuming that Fluttermane does attack the Dragonite. No, they attack Volk. Okay. So then objectively I can't win. Even if for some reason the Iron Hands goes for some sort of like substitute or whatever. Or some really dumb move that objectively can't click. And I say substitute because it's just the point being as a non-damaging move. Even if it did click a non-damaging move or just didn't land an attack, Fluttermane just guarantee KOs this next turn. And I can't ever touch it because I'm choice locked into E-Speed. Okay, well, we're on to game number 5, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Wouldn't be best of 5 if we didn't go to 5. So we're going to see you guys with the Goldango team as our final one. Peace out, guys. So going into our final game, we're taking on a Black Glasses Terra Fire Kingambit, a Terra Psychic Throat Spray Furgraph, Terra Dark Violet Murkrow, Terra Water Light Clay Grimmsnarl, a Terra Electric Leftovers Iron Thorns, and a Terra Flying Banded Dragonite. Meanwhile, my team consists of Leftovers Terra Ghost Goldango, Assault Vest Terra Flying Kingambit, Citrus Berry Terra Fairy Volcarona, Terra Water Light Clay Grimmsnarl, Terra Dark Eye Papa Berry on Amoonguss, and Life Orb Terra Ground on Roaring Moon. So I'm a little bit concerned with that Iron Thorns actually. That could be kind of scary, especially if it gets up some sort of speed control with Murkrow. I'm going to proceed to lead off with Roaring Moon, and I'm going to bring Kingambit. I think I'm going to lead off with Roaring Moon and Goldango here. I'm going to bring Kingambit to the back. And then I think that the last one is going to be Volcarona. Not really too huge on my screens here. I feel like the screens overall, despite the fact that they're good for stuff like Dragonite, at the same time, Grim doesn't really do a lot against this team. And I could actually, in theory, be boosting their Kingambit significantly more. Meanwhile, my Amoonguss, because it's not Rocky Helmet, I'm not really feeling this too much. If it was Rocky Helmet, I would have brought it. But because of the fact that it's Eye of Papa Berry, I actually think it's really bad in this matchup. Because I don't really get any pressure on stuff like Iron Thorns or Dragonite, etc. So I can't even really play it as like the Switch game and try and get some helmet chip. So it could again be like not bad, but I just don't think it's good. So let's see. We're gonna take on Murkrow Kingambit here. Perfectly fine. I'm gonna proceed to go for, let's see. So I need to go for, So I could go for Terra Ground. Realistically, Terra Ground should actually be fine. I'm not going to go for Tailwind, just because I don't really think I need to. Meanwhile, I'm going to go for the Protect on Goldango. Yeah, I'm going to go for this. We're gonna have to see if we can make this work. Realistically, that Kingambit is essentially going to be what's stopping us from winning this game, because Kingambit in general could be a decent long-term bet. Now, I'm hoping that with Goldango in the field, I can actually make them want to attack with Sucker Punch into the Goldango spot, which is kind of what I'm hoping here. I'm hoping that maybe by leading off with Goldango, and it's the reason why I did it actually, is solely because of the fact that, for example, with the Kingambit lead, I could bait it into Sucker Punching, or with stuff like Dragonite, for example, by leading off with Goldango, I could lead them into maybe just trying to attack into the spot with Earthquake, or with Murkrow, I could maybe use that to just go for Foul Play or something. The point being, though, is trying to force these awkward scenarios by leading with Goldango, despite never taking advantage of it. So we're going to hope that this Stomping Tantrum does enough. I don't think it'll KO for what it's worth, but maybe it does. We are Life Orb this time, so we should do some substantial damage. Kingambit does take this hit pretty well, actually. So I'm going to proceed to go for the Breaking Swipe here. Breaking Swipe should definitely KO both Pokemon. Meanwhile, on the Goldango, I'm going to proceed to go into Volcarona. This is mostly because of the fact that, objectively speaking, Murkrow can't really status my Goldango in any way, shape, or form. So I don't really have to worry about stuff like Quash or Thunder Wave here. It's all going to probably end up going into the Roaring Moon, if anything. So realistically, I can get off this Breaking Swipe. The goal was to get some more damage off onto the Murkrow. They're actually going to predict the potential for Roaring Moon, which is actually really good on Avery's end. This is some really good damage that's going to get off, and Roaring Moon is going to be fairly chipped from this. My opponent also having Tailwind up, and despite me not having it up, actually also is a good position here. Let's see, so they have Kingambit Murkrow. I'm curious what that other mon is. They're going to bring in Iron Thorns. Okay. So this is kind of what I was concerned about, actually. The Iron Thorns with Tailwind up. Because now, actually, I don't have a good way around this one. I need to kind of go into King Gambit here, and I need to hope that maybe they just don't attack properly. Realistically, their play is pretty set, though, by just clicking Protect on Iron Thorns, meanwhile going for Foul Play into the Roaring Moon here. There would actually be plenty for my opponent to take this. They're going to go for the Terrestrial here. I'm going to guess it's Thorns. Yeah, so this is really good because despite the fact that obviously they're Terrestrialing into Electric in front of a Terra Ground Mon, they are going to lose some of their weakness, which should be valuable to my Roaring Moon. So I'm still anticipating that. We're going to get taunted on King Gambit, perfectly fine. I don't really care about this, to be honest. And then Rock Slide, yep, that does enough to kill Roaring Moon. Perfectly understandable. So, that's really not good. We're gonna... I think that I'm gonna go into... Goldango here. Realistically, if they're gonna target into a single target spot for Goldango, I'm okay with that. I'm gonna proceed to go for the Nasty Fly here. And I'm going to go for the Kowtow Cleave into Iron Thorns. And then on the following turn, I'll probably go for like a Sucker Punch or something. If they're not going to attack me, then I'm okay with that. Because by not attacking me, then they're going to allow me to get up a Nasty Plot for free on Goldango. Which, while it won't be as useful for Make It Rain, it'll still definitely be useful for Shadow Claw. So, they're going to go for Protect on Iron Thorns. It's fine. We've revealed their 4 comp, which consists of King Gambit, which is dead. Then they also have Murkrow, Iron Thorns, and Dragonite. So no trigger mode, no screens, really valuable information. If nothing else, I will definitely take that. We're gonna proceed to go for the Make It Rain here. While obviously I'm gonna drop my special attack, I think it's still for the best because I'm gonna go for Kowtow into this Iron Thorns here, and that should do a good amount of damage. And at the very least, assuming no fighting move, something like a low kick would obviously KO, but I'm gonna just hope that they don't have that. But if we get Red around, that's pretty bad. They're gonna go for Outrage, actually. Outrage is fine. It's not really gonna do some damage, thankfully. Meanwhile, my Make It Rain will actually just KO the Dragonite, which is really huge for us. If this was Inner Focus, I don't think it mattered, but okay, so it didn't even KO. I was thinking it was a crit for some reason. But okay, so Thunder Punch is gonna go off. That's fine. Thunder Punch should do a good amount of damage to my team. Thankfully, they did attack into the Goldango here, which means that I can just barely miss out on the KO with Iron Thorns. This should still be fine, actually. I can go for Sucker Punch here, plus the Make It Rain. And that combination should be enough. Even if they go for Protect or something, Murkrow can never actually damage my King Gambit enough, so I'm pretty okay with this. So Murkrow is definitely objectively coming in. They don't have another Pokemon, obviously. We already have seen Tailwind going off, and I think we've also seen... I forget what the other move was, but it's not a huge concern. Realistically, all I do is just... Oh, fuck, I click Kowtow. Oh, no, I click Kowtow. Okay, well, they click Protect. Thankfully, I got bailed. I will definitely take that. Realistically, though, my opponent's probably just going to go for some sort of foul play here to try and take out my Goldango, which is fine by me. Goldango, for what it's worth, should be able to get off, yep, some substantial damage. It's nearly KOs the Murkrow, actually, which is good for us. So, barring some random Prankster Roost, which this might unironically be the first time I've ever seen it on Murkrow, if it doesn't coming, I think barring that really hyper niche situation, we should be fine. Kowtow's gonna go off, that's fine. It's not gonna KO. It wouldn't have KO'd anyway, and for what it's worth, it was a bad play. So I did get a bit lucky there, because if I Sucker Punched, I think I would have been fine. I think I'm guaranteeing the KO at this point. We're gonna go to Volk, though. Volk should be okay here. The one concern would be the Iron Hands going for like a substitute, and not the Iron Hands, the Iron Thorns, which if it goes for substitute here, I think that I just lose. However, if not, then I think I'm okay, because my opponent can't actually do anything that would really scare me, since realistically, even Murkrow going for Tailwind, for example, I still get the Sucker Punch for free on Iron Thorns. So it essentially would need to take this hit, which obviously it's not going to take this hit. It's still a neutral-natured Iron Thorns. So it's just Murkrow left, which we might even just KO it this turn anyway, but if not, I can proceed to dual target it, so I'm perfectly okay with that. Heat Wave, yep, this is why I'm not running you at Orlando, Volcarona. Speaking of, I guess if you're watching this, I'm currently at Orlando right now, probably. But we're going to go for the Kowtow here, and that should be enough to pick off. We ended up winning the sets 3-2, so honestly, I will definitely take that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and if you did and you want to see more content like this, leave a like and subscribe, and let me know who you guys want to see next on this. I'll try and reach out to some people and get some people on that you guys want to see, or just get some friends of the channel. Shout outs to channel members, of course, being Josh Gitlich Player, Mia Zig Zero, Matt O'Shea, Nux Nocturnal, Koemi, and Slade. Your guys' support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to see some more bonus content every week, as well as some obviously just a couple dollars a month, you can support the channel. Make sure to hit the channel membership button. It's pretty inexpensive. With that said, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Until then, peace out, guys.